Our first major question, which consists of a 1-minute response, will be asked by Megan Pollard from West Anchorage High School.
We're about to discuss issues that teens determine to be important to them. What do you think of top 3 issues facing teens today, and what do you think you should do to solve them?
Mr. Bird, you have 60 seconds.
I think you asked for the top 3 issues. One of them is the crisis of human life. The troublesome social issues have been usurped by the federal courts. They have absolutely no right to do so, and I will work to get them returned to the states where these troublesome social issues should be resolved. The second one, I'll simply say, is obedience to the Constitution and the 10th Amendment. We are constantly trying to open up ANWR, but it is held hostage by the public opinion of the lower 48, which does not understand Alaska. And I will utilize Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 to show you that the federal government has no authority to own ANWR as a condition of statehood. And the third thing I will say is understanding the so-called Bill of Rights and calling yourself you have constitutional rights is actually erroneous. The Bill of Rights are a bill of limitations on federal power. I'd read you the preamble to the Bill of Rights, but I'm out of time.
Thank you, Mr. Bird. Mr. Haase, you have 60 seconds.
The Federal Reserve Corporation and the debt is absolutely number 1. Number 2 issue is the No Child Left Behind. And I'm not talking about the one in the past recently. It's the dropout. We've got 15, 16, 17-year-olds, both numbers are out here in this category. But they just drop out of society. They get into gangs. The next thing you know, they're into drugs. The next thing you know, they're just out of life. And that's got to be stopped. And when I first heard about this No Child Left Behind, I thought that's what they were going after. But it's not. And the third big issue, I think, is ANWR. We got to get it open. And I think that a third-party candidate like me, like Rob, will have a better opportunity to get it done than those that are hung in with the party.
Thank you, Mr. Haase. Mayor Begich, you have 60 seconds.
Thank you. I think the 3 issues are education, climate change, and the new energy economy. Education. I do not support No Child Left Behind. I think it should be repealed. The second thing, as I mentioned in my opening, I think it's important that we ensure that there's affordable funding and affordable opportunities for kids to go on to education, maybe college and vocational education. The second one is climate change. This issue will affect us not only today, but for generations to come. All you have to do is look around the state, see where city or village of Shishman that is literally falling into the ocean, or Spruce Parkfield and what it's done to our hillside here. You can pick the area, we are ground zero for climate change. People can argue the cause of why it's here. It is here. It will affect this generation and multiple generations. And the last one is the energy economy. Energy is going to be the biggest issue, I believe, in Congress next year. Developing a long-term energy policy so we don't end up where we are today, but also the jobs that will be connected to the new renewable and alternative energy programs in the future.
Thank you, Mayor Begich. Mr. Berkowitz, you have 60 seconds.
Thanks very much. I think the top 3 issues that face us are energy, energy, and energy. And I say that because if we do energy right, I think it answers a lot of the problems we face. It looks like many of you have filled up your gas tanks recently, and those prices seem pretty extreme. If we start to produce energy in America for Americans' benefit, we're going to bring down the cost of energy. We're going to have the right response on climate change. We're going to do better with our foreign policy, break away from the dangerous dependence we have on foreign oil, where we now import $700 billion a year of foreign oil and have a foreign policy driven by that dependence instead of American values. On account of that, we see American troops caught in wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and we've got to get away from that. When I say doing energy right in this state, we are an energy state. It's more than oil. It's more than gas. It's the renewable prospects that we have. And we need the talent that's out there to help make these things come true. And that's where your responsibility comes in.
Thank you, Mr. Berkowitz. Mr. gianoutsos, you have 60 seconds.
The only issue, as far as I'm concerned, is ANWR. From it comes all the money that funds everything in Alaska, whether it's state government, whether it's education, whether it's healthcare, whether it's infrastructure. All the candidates talk ANWR. Nobody can do ANWR. I can open ANWR. My wife and I are the only couple in American history that has ever pushed through Congress an entire generic lot of life bill in a divided Congress with was unanimously passed, 60 co-sponsors, 22 chairmen, the leadership of both House and Senate. The documents are on my webpage. Please check them out. We're the only ones that have ever done it before or since 1983 when we did it 25 years ago. We have an open animal with the National Endowment for Wildlife in exactly the same way. Please check my website. Look at my plant open animal in detail. I can do it. I just don't talk. I can do it.
Thank you, Mr. Gianoutsos. Moving on to our first short answer question of the afternoon. Candidates, what are your solutions for underage drinking, and do you support lowering the drinking age? Mr. Haase, with 30 seconds.
Well, I don't recommend any of you start drinking ever. That being set aside, you're old enough to fight for your country, you're old enough to have a drink.
Thank you, Mr. Haase.
Thanks very much. I don't support changing the drinking age as it is today. I was born and raised in this community. It was much lower, and I saw what happened in this community, the damage that it caused. And I think there's a lot of things we could do. First off, there's a lot of organizations that are out there with young people, making sure that people are responsible. When you turn drink age, illegal to drink, I think it's very young. Do it in a responsible way, but I don't support it.
Thank you. Mr. Berkowitz, 30 seconds.
We've got massive problems with drug and alcohol use in the state, and we can't ignore those realities. But what we're going to do to address them is make sure that we have more opportunities for people in the afternoons. It used to be that there were a lot of athletic programs that available to the kids. It used to be that we have more music and arts and extracurriculars. We've got to make those opportunities available again, because there are different ways to capture people's attention, making sure that there are alternatives to taking drugs.
Thank you. Mr. Gianoutsos, you have 30 seconds.
Drinking at any age is a matter of culture and a matter of individual responsibility. I am the son of Greek immigrants to America. My wife was an immigrant from France. We both started drinking alcohol as children, watered down in wine when we were 6, 7, 8 years old. That was the culture. We have never had a problem with alcohol. As far as I am concerned, an 18-year-old can handle it as well as a 21-year-old.
Thank you. Mr. Burke, you have 30 seconds.
This is an excellent opportunity to show you the coercive power of the federal government. This is a social issue that is best left to the states. I wouldn't begin to dictate what it should be. The states will decide this according to their cultural preferences. But look what happened. The federal government forced the states to raise it to age 21, or they withdraw highway funds. That's not a good way to have the question answered by force. And they tried to do it with No Child Left Behind in New Mexico, how they were going to withdraw highway funds unless they cooperated with that.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Now, our first in-depth question consists of a 60-second response with opportunity for 30 seconds rebuttal. The question will be asked by Cooper Galvin from Stellar High School.
Last week, is around there with global warming. Do you feel that the U.S. has had a role in global warming? What action do you take?
Mayor Begich, you have 60 seconds.
Well, thank you very much. And actually, I do believe every country has had some role in regards to climate change. As a mayor, we have led the charge with over 800 mayors across this country, pushing Congress to deal with the issue of climate change. And what we've done here in Acres, we've done some incredible things. We are now converting all our light systems on the streets to LED light, saving energy and reducing emissions. It saves almost $1.6 million in taxpayer dollars every single year. We're extracting the methane gas for the next project out of the landfill. Instead of just burning up in the air, we're going to utilize it in homes, 2,500 homes for 40 years once that project's online. Converting it to new alternative energy like wind energy off of Fire Island. That project's in the process of being developed. All our building standards for both school district and city now must meet energy efficient buildings that lead standards. There are many things we are doing in this community to meet the challenge of climate change.
Thank you, Mr. Berkowitz, 60 seconds.
The problem with climate change affects all of us. We need to be good stewards of the earth and of the oceans. And one of the things we have to do is aggressively attack the root causes of climate change. The root cause, according to the scientists and political consensus, is that we're putting carbon into the atmosphere. And in order to cap carbon, we either have that cap trade or carbon tax or some other method to make sure that polluters who are putting carbon in pay the cost for it. And we've got to be aggressive because we suffer from it more than anyone else. Treating sea ice means that the
there's less albedo, less reflection off of that, and more absorption, increased global warming. When the permafrost melts, you're seeing the release of methane gas, which is 23 times as noxious as carbon dioxide. We've got to be aggressive. There are things we can do. There are things we must do, and that's the responsibility of the people who are in control today, but it's also the responsibility of you who will come behind us.
Thank you.